Raptors reap huge return on their wheeling and dealing. Oakland, California. What completely investing in this season, moving valued assets and trading draft picks and quality prospects have done for the Toronto Raptors is put them on the verge of greatness. In February, the thought of the playoff bumbling Raptors being 2 wins from an NBA title against the dynasty Golden State Warriors would be considered absurd. But Toronto's they have come together at the perfect time and caught the Warriors perhaps in the final days of their amazing run, hobbled and battered, which is why they were able to coast in Wednesday's Game 3. Box score. With Klay Thompson a late scratch with a strained left hamstring, Kevin Durant missing his 8th consecutive game with a calf strain and Kevon Looney out for the series with a fractured rib, the Warriors were vulnerable. The Raptors have no idea what type of team they'll field next season. Perhaps they'll be decimated by free agency, but that doesn't matter right now. The Raptors bet on their 123-109 win over the injury-depleted Warriors is just as crucial as their Game 1 win. They have taken control. Golden State is stumbling to the finish, like many great dynasties, most notably the 1989 Lakers, who sustained injuries to Magic Johnson and Byron Scott and being swept by the Detroit Pistons. Free agency made healthy and cohesive, this Warriors team is unquestionably the best in the NBA, but they haven't been the former for weeks, and the Raptors aren't intimidated by their opponent or daunted by the task. Leonard led Toronto with 30 points and 5 other Raptors scored in double figures in perhaps their best performance of the postseason. Kyle Lowry, the Raptors were 2 steps faster than the Warriors, who were relegated to chasing the entire night. Golden State would. Thompson played his best Possum Tuesday during media availability when he said he didn't see himself not playing in Game 3. He took the suspense without Thompson and Durant, who arrived at Oracle Arena about 15 minutes before tip-off. The Warriors were relegated to Curry and the backups, a scrambling bunch that spent the first half just trying to stay close. Toronto, at full strength and fully realizing it was the prohibitive favorites, led for the final 20-42 of the first half, sharing the wealth offensively when Gasol and Pascal Siakam reverted back to their Game 1, gashing the Golden State defense early while Leonard played distributor. The lead stretched to as many as 14, but the Warriors displayed championship grit by constantly rallying. For Curry had 25 of Golden State's 52 halftime points with Draymond Green the next highest at 7. The Warriors haven't. Was Thompson completely unable to play, or were the Warriors essentially conceding this game to get their shooting guard 2 extra days to rest? Also, Durant, the whole point was to not risk a bigger injury that would keep him out of the rest of the series. So that was the giving away an NBA Finals game is a risky and monumental decision, but perhaps Warriors officials envision Thompson perhaps re-injuring himself and missing the rest of the series. The Raptors, chasing their first NBA title, gladly accepted Golden State's generosity. There is no sympathy. They responded like championship caliber teams should. They were hardly "Let's go Raptors." Chants dominated the arena as the fans filed out, and then that turned into "Oh Canada" as Oakland became Toronto's South. Gary Washburn can be reached at follow him on Twitter. Related slideshow Best of the 2019 NBA Finals provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.